What's up guys, this is Ruben from Camila the 68 Cougar. If you're new to my channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, please make sure to like the videos as well to help build the channel. In this episode, what we're going into is back into Camila's 68 Cougar. If you guys know, this is a 1968, so it's roughly over 50 years old now, plus. So what I'm going back is looking at the dash. So in this dash piece, stay tuned on this. Most of our dashes in these cars have become brittle, or they're just beat up, or they just look outdated. So there's a couple of options. You can restore the dashes. You can do, repaint that stuff. If you want to take advantage of some of those modern aspects of the instruments, you're kind of SOL trying to figure out how to fit those new gauges into the dash panel. So I actually, way back when, I kind of try to update my dash panel, the stock one actually. So it comes stock with the wood grain piece, which was really cool back in the day. But if you look at it now, it's kind of like that green fuzzy carpet that you see some old homes from the 70s and 80s. So it's not the most appealing piece anymore. So I ended up painting it black. I bought some white face overlaid gauges, and I painted some of the markers too as well. Fast forward to the last year or two, it wasn't quite ready to put that kind of gauge cluster panel piece back into the car, especially since it's all been painted. Everything looks really nice, and then I have this old kind of put together dash panel. So with that said, I'm going to go over what I did to replace my 50-plus-year-old dash panel from all the way from the driver's side all the way over to the passenger side. So stay tuned on that. Also, I'm going to give some feedback too on the build quality of it, so that way you can make your decision on what you want to do. If you're looking for a pro touring style, you're very limited on options, especially if you want to take advantage of some of the modern day instrument clusters and gauges and so forth. So stay tuned on that, and we'll go and walk through that part of it. Alright, so here's the 1968 Mercury Cougar gauge instrument panel with the gauges too as well. Again, as I said earlier, this actually has like a wood veneer look, as you would imagine with a 50-plus-year-old car. That wood look was already faded from the sun and just weathered over the years. I actually changed this whole panel to black years ago, a long time ago. I didn't like the way that wood color looked, so I thought, hey, what's the easiest and most economical way back then to address that and get that looking much better. So I ended up rattle canning this all black here. If you notice, the stock Cougars don't come with white face gauges. Obviously, that was something that I bought an overlay years ago. So there's stickers. I put stickers on. I actually repainted the pointers too red as well, just to give it that look. I mean, it's a classic 2000s white face gauge look. It was all the rage back then. So yeah, I went ahead and painted this black. This thing is pretty solid. This one's actually in really good condition. Everything is still there. If you flip it over here to the back side, the wiring on this is still extremely well put together. There's no problems with stuff that's been hacked here in the back. Everything's in great shape actually for being 50 years plus. And as I'm looking at this, I don't see anything that's broken here. Well, actually, here's the broken part there, but I mean, you can't even really see that. But other than that, this one's actually pretty solid, so it's not in bad shape. But nonetheless, when I was spray painting this part here is spray painted over that. It's just like a plastic see-through. Can't think of the name of it right now. But I accidentally sprayed over that, and I sprayed over this part here where it shows like indicators, and then the turn signal here too as well. But overall, not in bad shape. This is the middle section that goes over to the passenger side section This one's a little bit more beat up, and here's that ugly looking wood veneer or wood look that it had. I guess, you know, back in the late 60s, that was actually kind of nice back in the day. It's luxurious. If you guys know anything about Cougars, the Cougars are the luxury version of the Mustangs. So they was dubbed the gentleman's car, as we saw that back in the advertisements from '68. Cool thing about the Cougars here, they have the toggle switches here. These still work. And it's for the lamps, the panel, and it says courtesy light, and then the map lights, which is right above you. So yeah, this one I spray painted it black too. Again, there was an overlay that I changed here, painted that pointer red. But if we look at the back of this one, it's really beat up here. This tab's kind of broke there. Tab broke here too as well. The wire is all intact, just like the other side was. Everything's pretty sturdy for the most part. Just some things that broke over time. You know, you could probably get some of these things replaced over at West Coast Classic Cougar. And you guys could tell I didn't do a really good job of this paint. But first, I thought I'd walk you through the first parts of the stock piece of it, just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. You know, like I said, if you're looking to keep things original, then you could probably go out to West Coast Classic Cougar, where they can probably salvage some of the individual parts that they had, and you can get those replaced and do that. Or you can go a different option. I'll show you that next. Okay, so I got this huge box here. I got my trusty rubber mallet here to hold this thing down. So if you don't want to go through the route of reusing your stock cluster gauge, or if it's just so beat up, or you don't want to spend, you know, X amount of dollars on getting a new one, that can be very expensive, especially for the Cougars, since they don't have a huge amount of reproductions out there, or they don't have any reproductions for the dash panel that's OEM spec. There are some options out there, and if we take a look here in this box, Classic Dash, they sell a bunch of stuff for different model cars. I'll take all this stuff out here. Very well packaged, actually. They know their stuff is sensitive a little bit. Well, not sensitive, but, you know, fragile with the panels. But so what I'm going to do here is take these out of here. We'll talk about this here. Let's get this other piece out of here. All right, so let's take a look at this reproduction, per se, of the 1968 Mercury Cougar, and this is for the 67, 68 Cougars, and this is for the, again, the Mercury Cougars, right? So I opted with the matte black look. So they have a couple of different colors from Classic Dash. They have the carbon fiber look, which is garbage in my opinion. Whatever they did with that, I think it's probably hydro dripped or something, but it just looks awful. So, you know, do not go for the carbon fiber look if you're expecting to make it look like carbon fiber, because it looks like something you bought at I was gonna say Kragen. I was gonna outdate myself. O'Reilly's or AutoZone. Gosh, their stuff is probably even better. So hopefully they actually update that, because I really feel like things have gotten a lot better as far as hydro dipping goes, if that's what they do. Don't quote me, I don't know if that's what they do, but if I've seen some really nice carbon fiber look type of hydro dipping, and it's gone a hell of a lot better. So again, I went with the black look. I need to test fit this just to make sure it fits, but you know, it does look, it looks great. You know, the layout's a little bit different. So these are the two 5-inch speedometer and the RPM gauge here, and then these are the two smaller gauges that go here and there. As we saw in the previous one, they're in different spots. So how does it feel? Well, obviously it's not as sturdy as the stock one. I guess I kind of didn't think it was going to be as sturdy. I did kind of feel like it was going to be thicker for sure, but maybe it doesn't matter, right? You know, I guess as long as it fits good, I'm hoping the fits feels good, and this is the bottom piece here that the other one has. It looks like a pretty good reproduction of the old one. So again, if you have a messed up one, they come in the carbon fiber, matte black, and I believe it's like a silver color. But you know, the color looks great on it. Looks like it's 3D printed. So here's the back side of it, okay? So quality-wise, as I said, it's not the best here. Will it hold your gauges? Yes. Will it stay intact once you bolt it in? Yeah, I would say so, absolutely. What I don't like seeing is, you know, there's a little piece right here that it was essentially hot glue gun. So they use hot glue, you know, the little thing you do for arts and crafts. You know, I don't know, I see that and I'm like, well, you know, is that really good? I don't know. I really don't know what to think. They also use hot glue gun here for these parts here. I'm sure it's gonna hold, but you know, I guess I was a little surprised to see that. You know, I thought it, you know, because it's 3D printed, I don't know, I just thought that stuff was just all one solid piece. My feedback to Classic Dash would be, is to make it a little bit thicker. I don't like the fact that it flexes a little bit. You know, maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. And these pieces that are hot glued, I hope they hold, right? You know, I guess once you put this in, you're not really going to mess with it too much other than just putting in the gauges. So maybe not be a bad idea. So I'm sure it's going to work fine. Okay. So now let's take a look at that other side. And this is the one that goes to the centerpiece and goes over to the passenger side. So fairly long piece. Seems to be, whoa, see? I almost busted that. So again, it's not the thickest plastic. It's like an ABS plastic, I believe. Not the thickest, but you know, I guess it'll work. So I opted for the one that doesn't have an AC vent here. As you saw in my last, my original cluster, there's a rectangle here to add a vent for the AC system. I am getting an AC system, but I just wanted to have more flexibility as to where I'm going to put the outlets at for the air conditioning. So I just opted to get that deleted. They have the option to put that back in if you like. I'm not a big fan of the stock configuration or the stock square piece of that, so I just got it covered up. Cool thing about that is it still has the molds here to drill out and add your switches, which I'll be taking advantage of that for sure. Probably not going to use the stock switches, but if there's something out there, then I'm definitely going to use that. Now going over here, you notice that there's not an oil gauge here as well, so it doesn't have it in this piece. If you look at the last piece, they have the two gauges, the two smaller gauges on each side of this speedometer and RPM, which is cool. I'm okay with that. I'm not sure how I felt about having the oil thing all the way on this side. So it's nice to have it from a driver's perspective. I can look at all the gauges there. You know, no big deal. So yeah, it looks pretty good. You know, like I said, it's a little flimsy. That would be my feedback back out to Classic Dash, is to, you know, make it a little thicker, you know, so it doesn't flex. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. So here's what the back looks like. Again, this is all one piece. The stock one has multiple layers on it. It has this outside piece, and then it has another piece on top of that, and then it has a panel piece that goes here. So there's like a bunch of layers on it, so it's a little bit heavier, of course, and it just feels more solid than this reproduction from Classic Dash. But nonetheless, hey, it's a good option. I'm looking at this here, and it looks like it's hot glued as well, but it's painted black, which is funny. The hot glue is painted black. It's not clear like on the other side, which looks a lot better. I don't know, it's just a color piece of it, but it does look a lot better since it's colored the same color. Maybe I'm just nitpicking on that. So the next important piece to take a look at is, well, how does it fit? Is it a direct replacement? Is it ever going to require some modifications to fit? So I'm hoping it doesn't, but we'll find out in the next section when I put that together on there. Okay. Last piece here. So you're wondering what the heck this is. You saw it sitting there on the table for a while. So this is the GPS sensor. I opted to get this so I wouldn't have to hook up a line from the gauges that I'm getting over to the transmission piece of it. So I like the idea of GPS. I think the only times the GPS has been issues is within like tunnels or under long bridges or something that you'll run into. But other than that, you're going to get some really good readings from this. And you don't have to worry about the other cables running outside your car or out through your firewall, which is really just simplifying it more and just hooking this bad boy up. So if you haven't thought about using a GPS system, this is from Classic Dash 2. It hooks up to all your gauges out there. What is it? Classic Instruments, Autometer gauges, and so forth. Popular ones. I'd recommend this. I mean, it's a lot easier. I like it a lot. I don't have to hook anything up, so might not be a bad idea for your build. So let's go check out and see how this bad boy fits. Alright, so here is the dash pad panel on the passenger side. This thing seems to fit okay. There is some blue tape there. I didn't physically bolt it in because I'm just mocking this up now, but hey, you know what? It is fitting pretty darn good. It looks like there's some crookedness right there where it meets the other piece of that. Don't worry about that. I still need to align this properly when it's bolted in, so that should meet up okay. I was messing with it with my hand and I got it to align properly, so we're all good there. So yeah, you know, I like this. This is cool. It looks a lot better than my stock one, and if you have a crappy one, then hey, this is your meal ticket here to get a nice piece put into your Cougar. So let's take a look at the other side there of the dash, and we can talk a little bit more about that part. Okay, this is actually pretty sturdy. Once it's bolted in there and over there, these bottom bolts here, there's a little thing that you screw in here. This thing is pretty sturdy. So you know, hey, it's a good it's definitely a good alternative. You know, if you want to get a different dash panel, this is not a bad route to go. Am I satisfied with it? Yeah, absolutely. I think it looks great. The finish is okay, and this is a matte black finish. It is slightly textured, so just keep that in mind in case you don't like the textured feel, but I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that. But other than that, it does not look bad. Let me know what you guys think. Let me guys know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys. Again, this is from Classic Dash. They are in a little bit pricey range, but you know, you don't have a lot of options out there, especially if you have an OEM piece that's probably mangled. At least for the 1967 and 68 Cougars, this doesn't look like a bad route to go. And again, the gauges here, I'm waiting for some gauges, so I'll have an announcement on that shortly, which I'm quite excited about. So I can't wait to show you guys that part. Other than that, yeah, thanks for watching on this. I hope this was informative. Let me know if you want to see something else in the comments. And until that time, hey, we'll connect a little sooner again.